Hi, are you planning a New Zealand trip sometime and don't know where to start and end? Also, are you worried about the expenses of the trip? Well, here is your answer.
We are going to share a 14-day itinerary of New Zealand with daily activities and things to do. We'll also share information about transfer between various cities in New Zealand, and we'll also share some of the tips and tricks which will help you save some money so that the trip does not burn a hole in your pocket.
Absolutely. And if you want your New Zealand trip to be fun and economical, just stick around, guys.
Hey guys, welcome to Wanderlusting Couple. I'm Runa.
And I'm Gaurav.
We both love to travel and we create a lot of travel related content.
We post a lot of travel vlog, guys, and a lot of itinerary videos. All of them will help you plan your own travel. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss a video.
Let's just jump into the video now.
Planning a New Zealand trip can be pretty overwhelming. One, because the country is really large. Second, most of the attractions are kind of spread across the country, which means that you have to travel from one part of the country to another part and staying at various cities for maybe just 2 to 3 days only. But don't worry, we have got you covered.
Before we move to the itinerary, we will take some of the questions that you have asked us about New Zealand trip planning. So minimum we would suggest that you should stay for 7 days because New Zealand is huge and there are so many things to do.
Summers in New Zealand actually starts from December to February. These are the best months to travel. Unfortunately, they are the most touristy, which means that everything from accommodations to transfers to activities becomes overly expensive. We suggest you choose October and November as your months of travel. That way, the weather can be good and you can cover most of the things in far less cost. New Zealand custom guides are really strict on what you are bringing in their country. There is a list of prohibited and restricted items which you should not carry to New Zealand. Just in case you are carrying some of them, you should declare it at the customs because the fines are really huge otherwise. We will leave a link of all these items in the description box below so that you can check that before you pack your bags for New Zealand, guys.
New Zealand can see all the 4 weathers in one day. So we suggest that you carry layered clothes which you can put on and take off very easily. Also, don't forget to carry rain cover, sunscreen, hats while you're traveling to New Zealand.
One of the most economical and fun ways to travel New Zealand, guys, is you fly into Auckland, travel and explore the north of Island, then go to the South Island, travel all the way to Queenstown and then fly out of Queenstown. There are many other combinations, guys, but trust me, this is the most fun and economical way to do it.
As soon as you reach Auckland, get a SIM card with good data plan and also get your rented car for 7 days. There are multiple options available, but the best way is to book everything before traveling to New Zealand.
In case you don't want to drive on the first day, you can either book a taxi from the airport or you can get a shuttle. Shuttles are mostly more economical because they have a group of travelers and a group of people who are traveling from airport to the main city or other parts of the city also. Just get into any one of them and check into your Airbnb and relax for the rest of the day.
On your second day, drive to the city center to visit the Sky Tower. The Sky Tower is about 1,000 feet tall structure. There are multiple viewing decks from where you can have a panoramic view of the city. There are activities like the Sky Walk and Sky Jump which you can do if you are feeling adventurous. Also, if you wish to have a meal with a view, there is a rotating restaurant and a cafe on one of the top decks.
Once you're done from the Sky Tower, you can drive to the Muriwai Beach. Muriwai Beach is actually a paradise for surfers. It's a black sand beach with a lot of cliff, guys. It's very beautiful. Another thing popular about Morovai Beach is that it has got gannets colony, which are really beautiful to look at, and you can get really close to these colonies once you are there. Spend a good evening at the Morovai Beach and head back to your Airbnb.
On day 3, start your day early and check out from your Airbnb in Auckland. While the final destination is Rotorua, we'll take a little detour to visit the famous Cathedral Cove. Cathedral Cove is a unique erosion in cliff on a beach in Coromandel Peninsula, which is only accessible by foot, kayak or a boat. Over the years, this rock got eroded by water and wind in a fashion that it resembles a ceiling of a cathedral, hence the name Cathedral Cove. From the car park, there is a shuttle which drops you at the entrance of the trail walk to Cathedral Cove.
The trail walk is for an hour long, and you can visit and stay at the beach of Cathedral Cove, have an amazing time, click some amazing Instagram shots. Once you are done from the Cathedral Cove, start your journey to Rotorua. It is going to take you about 3 to 4 hours to reach there, so keep your Airbnb host informed in Rotorua.
Once you reach there, just relax for the day.
On your 4th day of exploring, start by visiting the Redwood Tree Walk. The Redwood Tree Walk, guys, is actually a walkway made by bridges and platforms suspended from these huge redwood trees. These trees can be as huge as 70 to 80 meters in height. These bridges are suspended from these trees in a very eco-friendly manner, and the view from this at the forest floor is just amazing, guys.
After you are done with the Redwood Tree Walks, you can visit one of the most famous geothermal parks of Rotorua, the Hell's Gate. Hell's Gate is an amazing geological park with multiple pools where you can see the effect of volcanic activity. They may be fuming, bubbling, filled with mineral, and may have temperature upwards of 100 degrees. These are sights not to be missed. You may also take a dip in some mud bath and sulfur springs.
Keep the 5th day for the movie buff in you. We'll start by visiting the Hobbiton movie set at Mata Mata. Hobbiton movie set is in Mata Mata, which is about a 1-hour drive from Rotorua. This place was earlier a farm owned by the local family. The makers of the movie liked the farm and built the whole set of the movie Hobbit here. Usually after the completion of the movies, the sets are destroyed. But since this one was made so beautifully and intricately, the owners of the farm and the movie makers decided to keep it that way. Today, it is one of the biggest tourist attractions of New Zealand.
Please note that the place can be explored by guided tours only, which has to be booked in advance. So we'll share a link in the description box to book the tour ticket. Once you are done with Hobbiton, you can drive back to Rotorua and enjoy the natural water spa in Polynesia Spa. There are multiple pools in Polynesia Spa. Some are alkaline and some are acidic. And there are multiple spa options which you can choose from. Take a dip and enjoy your evening here. Start your 6th day early to visit the thermal wonderland, Waiotapu. Waiotapu offers some stunning and out-of-the-world experience of a geological park. You can visit Lady Knox Geyser, which erupts like a huge fountain from the ground, and you can also visit the Artist Palette, which is a pool of steaming colorful minerals, and many other wonders which will make you feel you are on a different planet altogether.
Once you're done from Waiotapu, head to visit one of the biggest lakes of New Zealand, Lake Taupo. Lake Taupo is so huge, it's more like an inland sea. It is a crater lake which was created millions of years ago due to volcanic eruptions. You can plan to chill near the shores of the lake. Also, you can go out boating or kayaking in the same.
On the way back, you can visit Huka Falls on River Waikato. It is a must-do experience, guys, which you should not miss.
On your 7th day, be prepared to travel a little more, guys. You can drive back to Auckland, return your car, and fly from Auckland Airport to Christchurch in the South Island. From there, you can restart your adventure of the Southern Island.
We suggest that you rent a car from Christchurch for 8 days and tell them that you will return it to them in Queenstown. Obviously, booking the car in advance is a smarter move.
Pick your car and drive for about 2 to 3 hours to reach your destination, which is
Lake Tekapo.
Lake Tekapo is one of the most beautiful lakes of New Zealand, and hence the most Instagrammed one as well. The lake has magnificent snow-tipped mountain range in the backdrop against the turquoise blue waters. The sight will leave you mesmerized. If you are lucky, you can find wild lupin flowers near the lake, which makes the place even more charming. Lake Tekapo falls under the UNESCO Dark Sky Reserve, guys, which means it is the best spot for stargazing. And if you are in New Zealand and not done the stargazing at Lake Tekapo, you will definitely be missing something. So book your guided tours and just go for it. Start your day by visiting the most humble yet stunning monuments of New Zealand, which is the Church of Good Shepherd. The church was built in 1935 on the banks of Lake Tekapo and is still a place of worship. Its beauty is its simplicity and its stunning location. You can sit for a while and offer your prayers in case the church is open.
Once you are done, you can restart your journey to Mount Cook. On the way to Mount Cook, you can also stop for a while at this beautiful lake, which is Lake Pukaki. Lake Pukaki is distinctly blue in color that it gets from the glacier floor. The lake will definitely leave you speechless. From Lake Pukaki, you can drive for an hour to reach the Mount Cook village. There you can grab some snack and then begin your trail to the Mount Cook region.
Mount Cook is the tallest mountain of New Zealand, and Mount Cook region is so huge it is difficult to explore in one day. You can still go out on some trails depending on the time you have. So get yourself a map and start to explore. We hiked to the Tasman Sea, and though it was a short walk, we were absolutely blown away by the scenic beauty of Mount Cook.
On your 9th day, check out from Tekapo and head further down to Wanaka. On your way, you can also take a small detour to see another geological wonder of New Zealand, which is the clay cliff. Clay cliffs were formed millions of years ago due to geological activities in this area. The gravel and sand brought down due to melting of glaciers were compressed for years, and then some volcanic activity raised them from the ground. Over time, the peaks eroded and left these pinnacles of clay, gravel and sand.
From Clay Cliffs, you can continue a journey towards Wanaka. Once you reach Wanaka, check into your Airbnb and relax for the rest of the day. In case you have time, you can go and check out the Wanaka Lakefront Market. On your 10th day, you can start exploring Wanaka by visiting this beautiful working farm called Wanaka Lavender Farms. Wanaka Lavender Farm is an amazing way to experience a working farm with lavender fields. It's just about 20-minute drive from Wanaka and is extremely beautiful. Enjoy your walks through the flower beds, meet the farm animals and shop some lavender cosmetics.
Once you are done with the farm, head towards Lake Wanaka to capture the most Instagrammed tree in Wanaka or New Zealand, which is #ThatWanakaTree. After you are done from there, you can spend time around the Wanaka Lake. You can choose to do cruising or kayaking in the lake as well. Lake Wanaka has a beautiful setting with alpine mountain range in the backdrop. The views of the shoreline and the mountain is quite stunning.
After your visit to Lake Wanaka, you can go out and have your dinner at any of these lakefront restaurants in Wanaka. Bombay Palace is one of the good places to tickle your taste buds with some Indian food.
On day 11, you can check out from Wanaka to visit the most happening city of New Zealand, which is the Queenstown. Queenstown is about 2.5 hours drive from Wanaka at the end of the Lake Wakatipu. It is also known as the adventure capital of New Zealand as there are so many fun and adventure activities to be done.
Relax on your first day in Queenstown and head out only in the afternoon to explore the Queenstown Market. Queenstown Market has got many tourist information centers and many of them organize all these fun and adventure activities for tourists. So explore them and choose your fun and adventure activities that you want to do in the next 2 days. Once you have freezed on your activities, you can explore the Queenstown Market in the evening. And also do not forget to try the famous Freg burgers. They are amazing, guys.
On day 12, you can visit the most rustic and beautiful towns of New Zealand, which is Glenorchy. Glenorchy is about an hour's drive from Queenstown. The highway gets more and more scenic as you drive on the shoreline of Lake Wakatipu. Once you are in Glenorchy, the beauty of the place will mesmerize you. You can indulge in all kinds of outdoor activities like hiking, horse trekking, speed boating, or just relaxing on the banks of River Dart.
You can also visit Paradise, which is a farmland about 20 minutes from Glenorchy. Guys, this is the place where the famous movie Lord of the Rings was shot. Grab a quick snack from one of the rustic cafes of Glenorchy and head back to Queenstown. On your 13th day, you can either choose to do any of the fun activities that you've already booked, like bungee jumping, skydiving, etc. Or you can start your day by visiting the Cornet's Peak. Cornet is actually a ski area near Queenstown. You can get a 360-degree views of the nearby area, which are absolutely breathtaking. Many people come here in summers for paragliding and mountain biking.
After the visit to Cornet's Peak, you can go to Lake Wakatipu for a cruise. The cruises are usually 90 minutes to 2 hours and it is quite fun. On your 14th day, you should check out early from your Queenstown hotel to visit one of the 8 wonders of the world, which is the Milford Sound. Milford Sound was described as the 8th wonder of the world by Rudyard Kipling. It is jeweled with stunning mountain cliffs, magnificent waterfalls, dark-colored waters, unique marine mammals, and forest-covered rock faces. Milford Sound has to be seen to be believed. No wonder it draws so many tourists around the year. A cruise in Milford Sound is usually the highlight of New Zealand trip, so do not miss it.
Important thing to note here is that the journey from Queenstown to Milford Sound usually takes about 4 to 5 hours. So if you want to do it in a day trip from Queenstown, it becomes really exhausting. We suggest that on your way back from Milford Sound, you should take a break and stay overnight at Tianau and only check out from Tianau the next day. Once you're done from Milford Sound, you should visit the Mirror Lake. The reflection here, guys, are unbelievable. The next day, guys, you can check out from Tianau and head back to Queenstown for your flight way back home.
Hope you liked the video, guys. We have tried to include as many details as possible in this video. We also have detailed vlogs on all of these places on our channel, which you can check in the New Zealand playlist.
There is a freebie, which is a detailed itinerary and a checklist for your travel to New Zealand. In case you still have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and we would love to get back to you. You can also DM us on our Instagram page.
Please hit the like button guys if you liked the video and found it helpful, and please subscribe to our channel as well. This is Runa and Gaurav signing off from Wanderlusting Couple. Keep traveling.
Keep exploring.
Until we meet again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.